Well, have a look at some of the foods that can significantly impact your blood pressure. It's estimated 1 in 3 adults has high blood pressure, and 20% of us don't even know it. Kowalski Markets nutritionist Susan Moore is here, offers some advice for keeping your pressure in check. Good to see you as well.
Thank you.
What's the problem with our blood pressure and food and the link?
Well, if you don't know you have your blood pressure, you can't do anything about it. And if you don't do anything about it, it significantly affects your risk for stroke and heart attacks. So 70 to 80% of folks that have their first heart attack or stroke had high blood pressure.
And did not know it.
Well, I don't know if they didn't know it, but it wasn't being treated or it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't down enough to erase that risk factor.
Sure.
So it's really great to know. Once you know, you can do something about it, and it can be pretty delicious.
You're going to take us down the path from the not so good to the good for you. Why don't we begin with the familiar and the wonderful? All right.
So sodium, everybody thinks, of course, sodium as being an issue for blood pressure. And the biggest sources of sodium are actually these foods: cold cuts, soups, pizza, and salty snacks. So they can fit in, but that's 80% of the sodium we get comes from highly processed foods.
I like that you say that because it fits in. It's an occasional thing rather than a steady thing.
Radio.
All right, we're getting a little healthier here.
So this is potassium-rich foods, and most fruits and vegetables are in fish, and we can talk about that. But the interesting thing is that sodium and potassium work in tandem in your body. So too much sodium, you can sort of tick it back in terms of effect on blood pressure if you have more potassium. So if you are a chipaholic, and I happen to be one of those, then a lot more potassium will help sort of teeter-totter it out into balance.
And
so
the common source are bananas, and as you say,
lots of fruits and vegetables. Fish is a great source of potassium. Dairy products are a great source of potassium. So just uptick the potassium, and that gives you a little more wiggle room on the sodium.
All right.
So then there's an actual diet for lowering your blood pressure called the DASH diet.
DASH.
DASH, and it stands for, very sexy name, Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension.
Oh, that's good.
It tells you what it is. So that it will actually bring down your blood pressure like 5 to 7 points.
Well, that's
so
a lot.
It does affect it, and this is just really sort of this whole approach. So it's lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, fish, nuts and seeds. They all offer something different. And then dairy, because calcium is really great for helping lower blood pressure. So it's really a whole food approach.
Most of these elements are really the Mediterranean diet.
That is correct.
Most of that.
Yep.
You have a salad for us.
I do. So this sort of pulls it all together, other than it doesn't have a protein source on it. But this is a carrot slaw, and so you could just dump some of this in if you want. It's tart apples,
put it in there.
Celery, tart cherries, walnuts, and then it's a yogurt dressing. And so we're catching lots of what's going on here in this salad. And it's really very few ingredients and very easy.
And look at
to
how pretty
make.
that looks, actually. You eat with your eyes, so this is really lovely.
And you put a little salmon or halibut on that, and you got yourself a meal.
And this will keep a while, too, won't
Yes,
it? You know,
a couple, 3 days.
Put that in there. Oh, that does
A
look...
little citrus in there, orange juice, and
So you can live
lemon
without
zest.
mayo.
Yes, you can. It's delicious.
You heard it from Sue.
Yes.
Thank you. This is
Thank
great,
you.
Great information, great tips here today. The recipe for the carrot slaw is online at KARE11.com, as well as some other advice from Sue. You'll find it under the news tab in the show at 4. We'll be right back.